Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is May 23rd of 2020. It is now, almost 5 a.m. on a Saturday, and I still have not received my stimulus direct deposit. I'm somebody who's on Social Security and have direct deposit, have been for ever, I guess, years. And no, I mean, it's just ridiculous that it's taking this long. As I've said before, I'm lucky. I mean, I'm not like a lot of people who have lost their jobs, who can't work, and because of the virus and that type of thing. Uh, but it's just ridiculous that it's taking this long to kick it out to Social Security. Now, my ex-wife, who's on Social Security, she got hers almost right away about a month ago. And here it is, almost the end of the month. Just sucks. It's not that I need it. Of course, you always need money, and especially if you're somebody who's on Social Security. But I mean, it's. I'm not one of these people who was working, and their job went away, and they need money for rent, need money for all these type of things. Maybe somebody who has young children, all types of things. I mean, and so this pisses me off for myself, but I think about those people. Wow, not not knowing when you're going to get it, and having it stretch out like this. So I guess this. I've been looking at a lot of the sites that are now big things on YouTube, where you can go there and they tell you what the current every day what the current situation is, and it looks like that the Social Security payments for direct deposit or whatever uh, are sent out Wednesday through Friday. I guess on the other days, the Treasury Department people are sending out other things or whatever. So today's Saturday, so I guess shouldn't expect any money Monday or Tuesday, and then maybe something will happen starting Wednesday. Bummer. Looks a little bit different, I'm sure. I hooked up my DOS keyboard. Let me show you that. I've had this, the one that I have, not this one, but they're products. Let's see. Keyboards. Smart. Okay, I have the professional one, and okay, it looks like. Well, no, because this has. I don't know. Professional, this one. Yes, this is the one I have, and but it doesn't have. I mean, it's built like a tank. Great, great keys on it. I love the volume control for the volume. And what I really like about it is that the cable that comes out of here, out of the keyboard, is a USB 3.0 that goes into my computer. And then on my keyboard, there are two USB 3.0 jacks that I can use. I'm actually using the one for this Logitech 3.0 camera that I'm using. And so what has usually happened in the past, because I've had this quite a while, is that I just get tired of the keyboard not being lit at all. I don't care about the flashing lights and all that type of things, Although I have like my Logitech, G9, 10, or 810, or 710, or whatever it was, that will do all that kind of stuff in programmable keys. I don't care about that. But I do like, even though I'm a touch typist, when I went to, started high school in 1955, they gave you a test. Went to De La Salle Military Academy, a Catholic, all-male military high school. And you got a test, and that was it. Now, I guess if somebody, I don't remember anybody, but basically you took that test, which I really didn't think too much about. I mean, I wanted to get in, but it was just, well, I mean, I'm not saying that I was smart, so I guess I can't lie about that. Anyway, I took the test, and then the school notified me, and then I went, and then they had 4 homeroom classes, and 2 of those homeroom classes, those were the smart kids. They got Latin and physics and Greek and I don't know what all. And then there was the other 2 homeroom classes, and that's the way it was for 4 years. Then the other 2 homeroom classes, and I was in one of those. And we were the dumb kids. And we got general math. Actually, we did get algebra, but we didn't get trigonometry and trigonometry and physics. Anyway, we didn't get Latin or Greek and when the Jesuits or Franciscans or whatever orders, when during the year they would maybe send one of their or 2 of their priests or brothers by or whatever to try to recruit students from the high school to, go to the seminary or whatever. Usually they didn't come to our 2 homeroom classes. Occasionally, I think one of them took pity and maybe would show up, but basically they didn't come to, and to show you too, I think it was I'm not sure if it was in our junior or senior year. I think it was in our senior year. They had a thing where your homeroom class would go to a business for the day. And so the 2 smart homeroom classes, those kids went to, I forget where, it'd be like AT&T, or there was a Bendix or Western Electric or whatever it was called, that paid really good wages, and they made parts for nuclear weapons or whatever at their place, stuff like that. Those 2 homeroom, the smart homeroom kids, they went there. My homeroom, we went to Drive-In Criterion Laundry, and so we could see what to expect for our future, that we would be working at a laundry. I forget where the other homeroom went, someplace just as well. Also, I forget if that was a national scholarship. I don't think it was. I remember taking the national. Oh, at that time, I'm not sure if they still do that or not. Back then, because I have a feeling that politically things might have changed. It was that all juniors in high school on the same day, all across the United States, had to take the national scholarship exam. You took it, and they sent you a. It was sort of kind of neat for back then, for like 1958 or something. You got like a computer printout that showed, where you stood compared to all the juniors in the United States, all the juniors in your maybe state or city, and then your fellow, all how you compared with, not with their names, but on the graph it would show where you were. If I can remember, I'll come back to that. But I remember at some point during the year, and I think it was, or during the high school, it was a different test that, and maybe that wasn't nationwide, probably was. Oops, my cable's hung up here. There was a test that you took, and then they sent you you got a thing that the Christian brothers, gave out to you with your results. And so this was in, okay, now for this was in the, the dummy, well, maybe that was handed out in, because occasionally we might have been we weren't really, I was going to say in taking a class with, no, we weren't. We had our own little, we took typing. Anyway, I took typing. Well, you had to. Took typing and bookkeeping. And I hated taking typing. This is before the internet, before the worldwide whatever. And because I felt like this was a job, women learned to type so they could be secretaries or whatever. But so I didn't like it, but it worked out great. Because starting back then, I put out back then when I was in high school a printed publication that, well, I wrote several articles that appeared in radio magazine type things, shortwave listing and that type of stuff. But I also put out a 300 or a 36-page monthly publication for years that went out to 500 different locations and people around the world, stuff like that. All kinds of stuff. And it was all, that was like for that publication, it was typing on stencils and mimeographing it off. It took me a month to get the 500, put together and sent out, and it was, but I learned a lot. But but I was embarrassed. I think I didn't feel like that I should be taking typing. I'm glad I did. Really, there's very few things I learned in high school. I mean, I could have skipped high school, except typing. And now bookkeeping, I flunked it. I flunked religion. I flunked everything. I went to summer school all 4 years. Anyway, but there was this one test that they gave out. So anyway, I remember they passed out the folder. And it, I guess it gave you some numbers, but it told you what type of job that you were, that they thought that you would be, qualified for. And I forget what But I remember being in the class because, I mean, some of the other kids, it was like, what would theirs be? I can remember, and it was like, I mean, theirs would, well, the thing it had for me, okay, well, you can be a telephone, you can be a switchboard operator, you can be I don't think they said fast, but I mean, it was like these were bottom of the scale menial jobs, and other people, and even in my class, I think some of them had, well, I could be I don't think it said nuclear engineer, but you could be a brain surgeon, you could be a nuclear engineer, and I'm sitting there, I can be a switchboard operator, So, but the National Scholarship Exam that all of juniors had to take, that came on this printed out thing, I think I was kind of a little bit, because I think that other thing had come maybe the year before, and when the National Scholarship thing came, I thought, oh my God, don't let anybody see what it showed, the whatever. It came with a graph and everything. And so I'm looking at it and I see, a little bit above it, there's a thing like the overall score or whatever, and it's a little bit above average. And I look at that and I think, okay, well, I can live with that. I mean, there's half of the people in the world, or half of my people my age, half of them are smarter than I am, and I'm smarter than the other, or I'm in the middle there. I thought I can live with that. And then I looked at the different categories, and I look at this graph, and it's like the line goes all the way to the bottom. I was like, oh shit, what in the hell is that? And it was mathematics. And it was something like, 95% of the juniors in the United States, are better in mathematics than I am. And I thought, oh wow, that's not good. And then I looked at the chart, and this line went all the way to the top or whatever. Like it was, I was 5% from the top or whatever. What the hell's that? And then I read the little. It was kind of remarkable, little box that told you what that was. And that was ability to read and understand and comprehend material that is presented to you, or that you read, and that it wasn't just reading comprehension. It was the ability to read something and see that that there is inconsistencies, or that it is not correct, and in that and everything. And I thought, that sounds good. So that's my. Be kind of interesting if there's. I think I asked this once or twice before, and nobody ever answered. If you're a school teacher or something like that, do they still do the National Scholarship Exam nationwide here in the United States? Because I think politically, nowadays I would think there would be Alabama and Georgia and Louisiana and Oklahoma or something saying the federal government's not telling us what to test, and they're not. I have a feeling that it becomes so political that. So if you're a teacher, especially if you're a high school teacher, you might let me know. Actually, I really, going to high school, other than learning typing, and of course, military, we had military every day, and then on Friday, half a day, we was full dress uniform, parade, the whole bit. And I mean, even during the weekdays, whether it was summer or winter, we fell in the front of the school, the entire battalion, in uniform. Of course, we were in uniform every day. We fell in, the colors were raised, national anthem was played. We didn't fall in the morning with our M1s, but hand salute and whatever. So, and then we learned how to disassemble and clean the M1, and squad tactics or whatever. I can't remember now. Diamond formation, flanking, that. So we learned a little bit of that stuff, but the other things, I guess they're still in existence, the government printing office. And starting when I was in grade school, I ordered in field manuals and other things from the government printing, because they printed everything, like, all the Army, our Arctic survival, tropical survival, just everything. And I ordered in all those books, and those I read. In high school, every day I came home from high school, I carried all my books on me. I never opened them. When I was in high school, I was in the Ground Observer Corps, civil defense, weather observer, trained by the state to be a radiation, go out and do civil defense radiation monitoring if there was an attack. I did all those things, but I never opened my textbooks. And I ordered in manuals, all kinds of manuals from the government printing office. But I can't think of what else, Now, going to a Catholic school, grade school and high school, I do think that we learned ethics and other things, like we had I flunked religion one year. I don't remember why, but I think we did learn those. So that would be maybe something. Maybe I would have turned out. Why is this not child abuse? Elon Musk naming his son X and an A and an E together, A-12 as a name. Isn't that child abuse? I'm sort of kidding, because I don't want the government. I remember back a long time ago there was I saw a story on TV or whatever where I think the people were in Florida, and husband and wife. I mean, a nice suburban house, looked like perfect mother and father. I mean, and a social worker. I forget, somehow a social worker got involved with the family, and she asked the father and mother, well, which church do you go to? And they said, well, we don't go to church. She actually took their children. I think it was like 3 or 4 children. She actually took their children away from them because they didn't go to church. And so you're thinking, well, that got corrected, No, I think it was like 6, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months or whatever before those people were able to get their kids back. anyway, I I think going to Catholic grade school and Catholic high school. Now there's a whole bunch of people. Of course, I worked with a whole bunch of people who were good people. Born again Christian fundamentalists or whatever, and but they hated the Catholic. They hated the Catholic Church, and thought anybody who went, and I mean they would say things, and they would. I just kind of shake my head like, wow, like being against Halloween. Oh, satanic. That's a satanic thing. Oh no, my kids don't, are not watching, not owning a television set. Oh no, not because my God, National Public Television or something might have something on there that, you know, and I went to Catholic grade school and high school, and never ever, let's just take high school, never ever did the Christian Brothers ever say anything against any other, religion. I don't think we discussed. If you didn't, I don't think we discussed, Muslim religion or even maybe the Jewish, but I mean Christian things were, and the Christian Brothers would say, Baptist and these other, they're better Christians than a lot of, Catholics or whatever. Never ever said anything. And even my own mother's family were Baptist, and they were nice people. But I can remember one of my aunts, who I really thought was a wonderful woman. I remember her a couple of times coming over because they were on their way to church or something, to their Baptist church or whatever, and saying, and she, Willie, she loved us and everything. But I remember her coming over and saying, you should come just because there's this, like one time it was a Catholic priest. I doubt he was, ex-Catholic priest. And she said, oh, he tells all the secrets, that the Catholic priests have sex with the nuns, and that they have guns in the basement and all that. And I thought, and I was just a kid, I thought, But I do know that she had 3 kids, and she had a son who was 1 year younger than I was, but she had a son who would have been my age, but the baby died, not baptized, and somebody told her that the Catholic Church said that that baby, went to hell, would go to hell because it wasn't baptized. And I was just a kid, and I tried telling her, Willie, no, that's not correct. God would not, God's not going to punish some child, because it wasn't baptized or whatever. But she had heard, somebody had told her that, and so that was, and I could understand. And she, but, so I think, morality and justice and some of those things, maybe that was somehow I absorbed or learned in going to a Catholic school. But so far as going to high school, other than that, I could have just stayed at home for those 4 years, because I was ordering in government printing office manuals and books on I ordered in, why I don't know, I ordered in like how to be a lab tech in the military or whatever. I got the books, the manuals, and wow, those are some neat looking, glass syringes and beakers. I didn't understand, over my head, But I mean, I ordered in a ton of stuff. I don't know if you ever heard of the the People to People organization. That's an organization that was started by Joyce Hall of Hallmark Cards back in, I don't know, 1958, 59, something like that. And it started, Joyce Hall was friends with President Eisenhower, of course, because Joyce Hall had money, and was friends, and President Eisenhower, made some speech one time or said something about people-to-people contacts or whatever. And then Joyce Hall contacted his buddy and said, would it be okay if I started a people-to-people organization, and yeah, do it. So anyway, I got contacted by Joyce Hall, and I was one of the, and I was in high school, or maybe right out of high school. I was one of the board of directors and founders of the People to People organization. And if you're not familiar with the People to People organization, you're probably familiar with the Sister Cities program. And I mean, I had nothing to do with that because, And in fact, at some point, I was not by Joyce Hall. I mean, even in the beginning, I was called by, I don't know, a secretary or somebody saying, and then, I showed up at the municipal or Muehlbach Hotel, which was, Kansas City's, downtown Kansas City, Missouri, and the press was there, and I signed as one of the board of directors or whatever, and pictures were taken and that type of stuff. But at some point, I was called or sent a letter and said, we're rechartering the People to People organization. And I thought to myself, did they have to recharter the thing just to get, just to get rid of me? I think they just made a mistake, and so I did a search a couple times, like using the internet, like founding of the People to People organization and that type of stuff, and looking for the photographs that were taken that appeared in the the Kansas City newspaper or whatever. I couldn't find anything. I'm sure if I were to go to the Kansas City Times, Kansas City Star newspaper and somehow go through, I'm sure I could come up with some pictures of me, not an individual, but around the table, whatever, like signing. But so I was not. I went to summer school 5 years in a row, and for grade school I didn't know they could send you to. I didn't know there was a summer school. So I went to St. Vincent's grade school, graduated in 1955, and I don't know of another kid from that. They sent me to Redemptorist High School for summer school, and when and it was a small class. Well, none of the other kids were from like St. Vincent's. I think I was the only one, and anyway. The teacher there said, the nun, well, the reason you're here is because of you can't spell, and the only reason that somebody can't spell is because they're just not a good reader, and so you're going to spend the summer reading. And I thought, sister, I bet my reading score is higher than your score. And so right away we were. I don't. She never revealed. I mean, I got back a score, and I was way beyond. I forget what they gave you, like a number, which would be, whatever it was. What if it was like 12? Then that would be you were, grade school would be what, 6. You'd be a 6 anyway. Whatever I had no trouble reading, so I sat there and read all summer. The problem was that I had hearing loss in both ears, and my parents never did anything about it. Never, the school, not that school, St. Vincent, but Holy Name before, 2 years in a row, we were given hearing tests. The only time in my life, actually, that I was trying to cheat. I mean, I don't think I was the first time. We all had to go to the cafeteria. Well, not all of you couldn't all fit in there. But, we went to the library, long table, headphones on, and I forget, and then they have a generator or something rather. And so I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't know I had hearing loss. And then, all the kids they're marking. I'm the only one that's not marking, because I guess they did mark such and such or whatever, and I was like, and I'm not sure if it was that year, but I know the next year when they came, the next year, and of course they sent a thing home from school, a printout with, whatever, and I even looked at it, like, that doesn't look good, Gave it to my parents, and I don't know what they did with it, but so the next year, the thing came, and so I know that, okay, and I actually was, there was a girl next to me, and she covered her paper, covered her thing up, and I thought this is a hearing test. This isn't to get into Harvard or Yale or whatever. Why? And of course they sent the thing home, and it was bad, both ears, and I don't know what my parents did with it. But then I went to Holy Name grade school for first grade, second grade, yes, third grade, fourth grade. And then I went to St. Vincent's grade school, and there they sent me to summer. Then I went to high school, and I went to summer school for all 4 years. A lot of us did. I think the brothers made, I know they made. I had a good income from that, and in fact, for graduation, 1959, I was informed that I could be at the municipal auditorium, for the graduation, and they would call my name, and I would go up, and they would hand me a folder and that type of stuff, but that there would be a blank piece of paper in the thing, and then after I completed summer school, that they would mail me, a thing, which they did. But I'm not sure how I got on this subject. But did you ever see the movie Lucas? Let's see how this.
You must be Lucas. I've heard a lot about you.
Really? What are you doing? Do you collect insects?
Well, to collect them, you have to kill them. I just look at them.
That's nice.
It's perfect your name's Maggie.
Perfect. I do too.
It's nice to know somebody has really heavy thoughts. If you're so depressed, how come you're eating pizza?
Anyway, I'll put the link to that. It's a really good movie, but I don't think that you can. Well, I'm sure if you go to, I don't think it's available free. Let's see. Wait a minute. Yeah, but the reason it because of the hatching out. That's it in the story here. Hatching out of the what do you call them? Where's that thing that pronounces words for me? Anyway, guess they hatch every 17 years, so that's from that movie or whatever. I imagine you could go to Amazon and do a search for that movie, and probably I don't know. Well, I guess we could just figure this out. Let's go there and see what it would cost if you had to pay. I never pay for. I pay for everything. And look, let's see. Okay, Lucas movie. Well, it's on DVD and Blu-ray. See if you can add your Prime Video. Oh, if you have Stars on, that service, I have Amazon or is it Netflix, and I pay for HBO. And anyway, look at this, $34 for. It's amazing some of the movies. You may remember some old movie or something or other that you saw a long time ago, and there are some of them that I'm getting. Not sure if this headphone is too tight on my ears and shutting the blood off. I'm getting a something going on in my ear. Anyway, nice little movie. By the way, I was kidding. I don't think that Elon Musk should be. I think his wife should divorce him for naming a kid whatever he's named. Anyway, here's the keyboard that I have. I think, did I already show that to you? And that's why the lighting is a little bit different, what have you. I love this keyboard. I have the Professional. Is it listed here? Well, Professional for Mac. Where's the... Anyway, this looks like what I have. Except that has backlighting. I love the keyboard, but even though I'm a touch typist, that was it. All of this started because of... I'm a touch typist, but occasionally there's something I want to, and there's no lighting for this keyboard. But it's a great keyboard, and I love the fact, I've already mentioned that this goes out into, plugs into 3.0 USB, and then I have over here on the keyboard 2 jacks that are 3.0. That is great. But so anyway, I guess at night I will, use my light up there. Let's see what it looks like, by the way, with that. Yeah, the Logitech cameras, they really work great in low light level, which I guess it's not hard to do. But so I actually now in the past, if you watch my videos, you've heard me ask Alexa to turn on or off different lights. We had a storm come through last week, and somehow it knocked out my lighting. So I haven't tried to see if I can go into the settings and kick it back up or not. It's almost 5:30 a.m. Um, so, people say I repeat myself. I do. And it's actually deliberate. Uh, I this microphone is working out really great. So finally, and although I could do some adjustments on it. I think I could get it improved, but I'm afraid to touch it. And there again with the stimulus money. I've been thinking that I was going to get it. I've kind of given up now. I'm sure I will get it, but so I was thinking with the stimulus money, okay, I'm going to get an iPad, and then I looked at everything, watched a whole ton of videos on the iPad, how to set them up, and the different types of applications you can get, and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, wow, that's really good. Then at the same time, I thought, no, I think what I'll get is the although I really don't need a new, where's that switch here? Can't find it because it's dark. Get a Pixel 3a XL cell phone because of the fantastic camera in the cell phone. A $400, well, I was going to get the 128 gigabyte or something, which is, I don't know, 500 or something. But I thought I'll get that. And so I've been going back and forth between, oh no, and as of right now, I'm going to get the iPad. But I think what I'm going to do when I get the iPad is, because the iPad's a great price, I mean, it's a good deal. But the only thing is the accessories, And I think what I'm going to do is just get the iPad, maybe the $100 pen, and then not get those other little things. Just get the thing in and start using it, and then, or whatever, if I ever get the, stimulus money. They're talking about new stimulus money, maybe. I may get the new stimulus money before I get the old stimulus money. See if I can drink this without hitting the microphone. Wow. No matter what size glass, even with ice, I know they have things you can set your cup on, and keep it heated or whatever. I need something that, well, actually, my daughter, a long time ago, she got me one of this Yeti things, and it stays insulated really, really well. Stainless steel. And I guess I could fill it with ice, pour the Coke in there. I don't know. We got in another grocery order yesterday. From Walmart, I pay the $13 or whatever it is a month, and so we don't pay for a delivery fee, but then I'm tipping, $10 every time that a delivery is made. So, and one order was really small, $40 or $50, and I paid $10 because of the virus situation. In that situation, I think I would have paid $5 or something, but Um, anyway, we ordered in food. I finally got my ex-wife does the ordering, and it's from Walmart. Yeah, Walmart. And well, hang on a second. I have pants on, so I can go show it to you. Um, let me show you some great pickles. Don't touch the mouse. Oh, that feels good to get that off my head. See if I can get up. Ouch. I'm back. Where it may pull up the camera. That's the so I can see what. It's from Walmart, and actually you can get it from Amazon. I don't know about the Amazon store, grocery store, but you can. But I mean, the prices, you can just go to Amazon and. But the price is unbelievable. I mean, expensive. Where it costs very little. Best made theme hot pickle. These are sliced. You can get it whole or sliced. And I've always liked hot pickles. And the 10 years or so that I worked at a small hospital, I would get giant jar of pickles and take it to the emergency room, and leave it there in the emergency room, the nurse's break room, and when they used them all up, I would bring in another one to replace it. I've always liked hot pickles, and then it got where I think after I left, I could not find in the grocery stores large jars of hot pickles. And these are walnuts. And then one of my daughters, she likes hot pickles. Same, we were in different states. Well, it's when she came back. She was in Sweden for 10 years or so. She's got dual citizenship. And she couldn't find pickles in the large jars. But anyway, finally found these. And I like those, so I try to keep a jar in my little refrigerator over there. I need some Coke. I guess I need to stop this video. I'm not going to put a link to this. Like an Amazon link, because the prices are. But Walmart, you can get these, but I don't think you can get them in a large jar. But you can get them. These are sliced. You can also get them whole. And I think they have a few other, which I haven't tried. This says, hot pickles. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.